What's going on, Jerome's first Vikings preseason game is in the books, and 12 training camp practices down. We're pretty far in the evaluation process of who's going to make the rooster, who's going to make the practice squad, etc. So we're gonna do it. That's right. 53-man roster projection post first preseason game edition. There were some risers. There are some fallers, too, and also a little bit of news. Stephon Gilmore, come on down. I believe that's Mr. Gilmore's. So we divide this up. So 3 columns, rooster, 53, practice squad, 16, as well as cut/waived. And there's some other random notes in there, like some guys might be on the pup, some guys might be whatever. Purple is projected starter. Yellow is backup. Maybe soon to be starter. Who knows, man. But so at quarterback, slinging Sam Darnold. Even with all the excitement with McCarthy, I still think that Darnold will start week 1. I don't know if he starts a full season, though. J.J. McCarthy, I think, has certainly proved that he can be quarterback 2 on this roster. That would free up a 53 spot. I think that they could try to trade Nick Mullins, but also they could look to bring him back on the practice squad, just have that veteran presence in the room. I think Jaron Hall is gone. Yeah. Kind of sinks because I did have hopes for the Mormon missile. Just, I don't know, like after he had that concussion, just wasn't really the same and just didn't look good. 3s versus 3s late in the game. So I think that's done. Then running backs. So Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, King Kene and Wangu, as well as C.J. Ham at fullback. Then on the practice squad, McBride and Myles Gaskins. Now, keeping 5 tailbacks in the sphere does make sense. Plus, they seem to like McBride on some of the special teams work. So it could be like McBride and King Kene back there returning kicks, or Ty Chandler, King Kenny. Who knows, man? But also Gaskin. So they like Gaskin as a veteran, do-it-all type running back, like a jack-of-all-trades, master of none sort of situation. And also King Kenny. I mean, Kenny established himself as a running back, man, where obviously he's going to be great as a kick returner, but I think that the explosion is there, and I think that he has matured as a runner. All the other stuff, pass protection, I don't know, man. I don't know. Receivers-wise, Jefferson, Addison, Jalen Speedy Naylor solidified himself as wide receiver 3. Powell, they still love. Great as a punt returner as well. I think that he'll be good to go. I think Tristan Jackson's earned himself a 53 spot, and not just because he put up the long touchdown from McCarthy, 100 yards receiving in preseason. He's been looking good throughout training camp, primarily working with the 2s, building up some nice chemistry from J.J. McCarthy. So I think that Tristan Jackson, who's last couple years has always been around the periphery on the practice squad, up and down. Jefferson loves him. Jackson's definitely put in that work, and he has improved from year to year. So I think he has earned a 53 spot. Deshaun Jones, now, he didn't really show up and show out in the preseason game, but he's looked very good at training camp, and I think it's a spot where he potentially looks good enough where he could get taken if the Vikings tried to get him through waivers to get him onto the practice squad initially, because again, you can protect some players on the practice squad, but you got to get them through waivers the first time around at 53 cuts. So that could be a challenge. And the Vikings, gave Jones $225K guaranteed on that UDFA contract. They may want to protect him. Practice squad, veteran Trent Sherfield. So caught that second touchdown from McCarthy, and also has had nice little moments in camp. I mean, if it came down to one roster spot between Jackson, Sherfield, and Thayer Thomas, I think Jackson gets it right now. But it could be a near-run thing. But Sherfield as well as Thayer Thomas. Thayer Thomas rising up, man, after we sort of called him out last week, but had himself a great practice. And Thayer, very solid punt return, as you saw in the preseason game. I think that he could contribute as a slot machine type receiver on offense, and I think that he's good all the way around. Then tight ends wise, so there's been some shifting here. So Hawkinson might start on the pup. He might not. So if he does start on the pup, missing the first 4 weeks, may as well make it 5, since I don't see his first game being in London, and then you got the bye week 6. But that could free up a roster spot. But Hawkinson, Josh Oliver firmly established as a blocking tight end. Johnny Montez, tight end 3. So we did have Robert Tonyan making the 53, but Tonyan and the back, I mean, it's unfortunate, but it could be a case of can't make the club in the tub. And also, I mean, could Tonyan go on IR and then eventually get released off of that with the injury settlement? I don't know. Nick Muse, So Nick Muse has really been busting his ass, man. And yeah, everyone loves him. Like Nick Muse is the team's little brother. He's hilarious. And he's also been showing up and showing out on the field. I think that in this scenario, he's earned himself a 53 spot. N'Keal Harry, you saw in the preseason game, they liked using him early and often with the twos. Looks again, he doesn't look like the part of a tight end, but you can see the matchups there. Like, he's large and a little bit slow as a receiver, but as a tight end, I mean, he's wiry, he's quick. I mean, he would be a matchup problem for linebackers and safeties. So I think that they want to see this experiment out a little bit. So N'Keal makes a practice squad. Samus Reyes, international pathway player, got some run on Saturday as well. He doesn't count against the roster or the practice squad, so he can just be there. So good for him, because I think he does have a little bit of potential there. Then offensive line keeping 9. So Darisaw, Brandel, Garrett Bradbury, Ed Ingram. I don't know if Ingram's going to be guaranteed to be right guard. Anyways, also Brian O'Neill. Walter Rouse had himself a ball game, man. Sprung that King Kene run. Can play right or left tackle. He's good to go. Reisner, hopefully his minor injury is going to be fine. Diamond Dan Feeney, and then also the veteran Queensberry round out the 53. Now, practice squad. Jurgens is my boy, but he got blowed up on that field goal block. Yeah, it happens, man. Also, Tyrese Robinson. T-Rob had a couple of great plays out there. The Vikings, they've liked him, but he's vacillated between second and third team. But I think he does have some potential and a little bit of staying power there. Defensively, so 6 on the D-line. This has changed a little bit. So Tillery, Harrison Phillips, Bullard, Levi, Drake Rodriguez, cemented. Jonah Williams is going to be a high-end contributor, as well as Jihad Ward. So Ward is that veteran who's been on like 7 teams, but he's huge. He's like 6'5", 290, and he can play stand-up outside linebacker, which he did in the preseason game. He can be a hand in the dirt, 4-tech, 5-tech. I think his versatility and veteran presence, I think is really also. It's funny because he's playing against the Raiders. He was the Raiders' second-round pick in 2016. Fun times. And then practice squad. So Taki Taimani, a true blue nose tackle, as well as Jalen Redmond, UFL, come on in, where he's had some decent practices. He also got kicked out of practice, but I'll talk about practice. But also, he was one of the only few defensive linemen outside of Levi Drake who was able to blow something up against the Raiders in the second half. So I think the Vikings, they sorely need that. I think they'll keep him around. And cut waived. This could be controversial, but Jaquelin Roy, last year's 5th-round pick out of LSU, now certainly could be practice squad, but I got high hopes for him. Skull SU, obviously, but I don't know, we haven't seen consistency. Also, he got blown up around the goal line as the Raiders punched that one in, and James Lynch also there too. I mean, Lynch, you could convince me that he'll be on the practice squad or something like that, but I think if they want to roll 6 deep at D-line, I think those are going to be the 6. Edge rusher, so Grenard, Van Ginkel, Diamond Dallas Turner, Pat Jones second, Gabriel Murphy. Now, Murphy has been out with a undisclosed injury. Could this be a IR situation so that you could keep a Bo Richter on the 53? You could convince me of that. But, I mean, Richter, pride of Air Force and Owen Porter, especially Richter on Saturday, man. Like, definitely, he was unblockable at times, bringing consistent pressure, and just that closing speed was really, really fantastic, man. So at minimum, going to be a really good special teamer. Maybe bring something as a pass rusher as well. Porter is advertised. I think that he is going to be destined for the practice squad, the Pride Marshal. Cut waived Andre Carr II. So, I don't know, just like hasn't come together like you would want with Carter. And I do think that all 3 UDFAs this year, in Murphy, Richter, and Porter, have played better than him and have had a better camp. So I think Carter II may be gone. Off ball, Pace, Cashman, Grugier, Hill, Asama. I think that's pretty straightforward. Dallas Gant played some nice special teams, played some good third-team defense on Saturday, so I think he sticks around. Cut waived Jabril Cox, a pride of NDSU/LSU. Quarterbacks-wise, so now this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So Shaq Griffin, Byron Murphy Jr., Not really sweating Murph, just getting cooked by Jacoby Myers. Free agent cornerback TBD. I wonder who that's going to be. Mr. Gilmore. Then Caleb Evans, who has actually strung together a couple of great days of football, as well as Dwight McLaughlin. He was like the only cornerback who had a good day. That's it. So keeping Nudie on the roster. So keeping 5 on the 53. And also Jay Ward does have quarterback flexibility. He was out there as second teamer at cornerback. Didn't have the great day, but he does have that flexibility. 2 veterans on the practice squad. So you want to keep them in the sphere. Also, I don't think there's any chance that they'll get poached. So Fabian Moreau, Duke Shelley. Maybe they want to keep 1 veteran and 1 young guy, so maybe it's Moreau and Jalen Williams, or Shelley and AJ Green, or vice versa, whatever. That could be how things go there. But yeah, just making room for Stephon Gilmore. It's gonna be kind of nice. Man. Safety: Harrison, Beasley, Metellus, Theo Jackson, Jay Ward. Straightforward. I think Bobby McCain has done enough to stay in the sphere on the practice squad, and he's a lot like Moreau and Shelley, where he's not going to get poached at 53-man cuts. He's not going to get added through waivers. So you can just keep him on the practice squad, as opposed to if you try to get Theo Jackson or Jay Ward through waivers, it might be a little bit more dicey. And just like with it would be tough to get McLaughlin through waivers given given the potential that he's shown. But you could feel fine with Moreau or Shelley, and if they get picked up, they get picked up. Happens, man. And Lewis Cine, even though Cine played quite a bit in the preseason game on special teams, as well as with second and third team defense, like we said, I think they're showcasing Lewis Cine for a trade, just like they traded Andrew Booth Jr. We'll see. 3 specialists. So I actually think that Najee Thompson, even though they hope that he'll be back for the Eagles game, it could be a spot where they feel okay with their special teams. I want to get Najee full-time to get 100%. Also, they can save a roster spot on him. So we actually have him staying on the pup. But Will Rackard, right now, I'll give the slight edge to Ryan Wright in the punting competition versus Seth Vernon. I think Wright, even though Vernon's got that big-time leg, Wright punted solidly on Saturday, as well as the soft skills like holding. Certainly helps in his favor. And then you got Andrew DePaula as the long snapper. So, some guys rose, some guys fell in our projections. And, of course, everything is fluid right now. I mean, there's still ways to go. You got night practice. You got joint practices this week with the Browns. And then, of course, you got that last preseason game. Or last 2 preseason games, one against the Browns, one against the Eagles. But things are starting to shape up, man. And guys are starting to solidify. 53 spots. Guys are making their case to stay in the sphere on the practice squad, and it's good times. It's a fun time of year. But that's it. That's at Vikings 53-man roster and practice squad projection post first preseason game edition. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.